Mr. Weinberger. My name is Ann McAtee. I'm an attorney in Davenport hired by the city to act as an administrative hearing officer today over this hearing. What's going to happen is I'm going to ask you and the Housing Authority's witnesses to sort of tell the truth. They'll have an opportunity to provide their evidence and their case. You'll have an opportunity to do the same. You can ask them questions. You can call your own witnesses. You can provide your own testimony. You can offer exhibits. At the conclusion of the hearing, I will issue a decision within 2 weeks and you'll receive a copy of that. Are there any questions?
No.
All right, we can proceed. Please raise your right hand and state your name.
Stephen Lewis Weinberger.
Mr. Weinberger, you solemnly swear that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. When you testify, could you state your full name?
Destiny Gearhart.
Destiny Gearhart, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Hello.
Hello.
Could you state your full name, please?
Lindsay Ellison.
Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
And he has a live video right here going. I just want to make sure that that's okay.
A live video of what?
It's just the table.
It's not, yeah, it's not a live video. It's a live video, but it's on private, so it will not be live, actually. I'll have to upload it later.
Can you explain to me what that is?
I don't have much space on my computer, so if I just was recording, it would run out after like 10 minutes. So if I do it through YouTube and do it live, I can record it, and then it won't take any space on my computer, and then I can upload it later
What is the purpose of your recording this hearing?
for evidence.
Thank you.
Documentation.
What is it taking a photograph of or a video of? What is
Just
the
the
camera
table.
pointed at?
I just mainly want the audio.
I see.
I don't need anybody's faces or anything.
All right. Thank you. You may proceed.
Mr. Weinberger's participation in the Section 8 rental assistance program is being terminated effective immediately for violating family obligations under the program. Specifically, he vacated the unit being assisted at 5901 Elmore Avenue E4 without informing our office. He also failed to obtain a Section 8 voucher before moving. On October 16th, we received a fax from Bob Heimer with information stating to contact him regarding this issue. Lindsay did call him and explain that she had inspected the unit and did not see any evidence of mold, nor did her coworker, who is also certified in HQS inspections. She explained to him that Cross Creek would need to agree to rescind the lease in order to move. There was also a letter from a nurse practitioner stating that, in her opinion, Mr. Weinberger would need to move. We don't believe that she had been in the unit to make that determination. Lindsay told Bob that she had reached out to HUD in order to assist in the legalities of this issue, and HUD stated the only reason we would give him a voucher to move is if the unit had failed inspection, which it had not. On October 22nd, 2018, we received notification from Cross Creek that he was not living in the unit, had turned in his keys on October 18th. So we have a copy of the request for hearing, and then a copy of this termination letter for both of you. We also have a lease from Cross Creek where he was residing and receiving the Section 8 assistance. There's an email from Lindsay to Cross Creek on August 30th that Stefan was having issues with allergic reactions to mold in the unit. Cross Creek replied and stated that he had came into their office as well, stated that the garbage disposal was not repaired and that there was moisture on the carpet. He had tore up the carpet by the kitchen himself and brought in a couple of small pieces, stating that it had mold. The entire maintenance team met with the office manager in his apartment, and the garbage disposal was previously repaired. There was no moisture in the carpet or the pad that he had pulled up. They checked the entire apartment for water intrusion and found nothing. They did notice that it was rather humid in the apartment, but he did not have the AC running, and this was on August 30th. They suggested that he turn on the AC to help with the moisture in the apartment, and also asked him if he turned the vent fan on when he showers. He replied that he does not use the vent fan because he tries to take a steam shower, which then adds moisture into the apartment. So this is just a copy of the email that they had been in there to check out the situation. There's a copy of the inspection that Lindsay did on September 28th after getting the complaint of mold. She went in and she did, she said it smelled dirty and stale. There were old, dirty dishes and clothes. He refused to turn the air on because he believes there is mold. And he provided an independent mold assessment, which states there's no mold, and there was no mold seen by Lindsay when she did the inspection. There's a copy of the heating appliance inspection report, was done July 17th, which is another report that we require in order to pass the unit. We have a copy of the certificate of mold analysis that Stefan had ordered himself for the unit, in which states that the conclusion was that it was not elevated. And at the bottom it says not elevated means that the amount or the diversity of spores as compared to the control sample and other samples in the database are lower than expected and may indicate no problematic fungal growth. We have a copy of that report. There's a copy of a food panel allergen from My Unity Point that Stefan has provided. And I would guess we would have to ask him more about the details of that because I don't know much about this. But it looks like it has his values of his allergens. There's a letter from Stefan to the landlord, Cross Creek Apartments. Basically he was going to be moving out within 7 days because there's a continuing problem with the mold. He says on July 26, 2 days after he moved in, he had an asthma attack and had to go to the clinic. He's been to the clinic 3 times, emergency room 3 times in less than 2 months. He has severe asthma, walking pneumonia, and developed food allergies due to the mold exposure. He has extensive video footage of some of the mold and updates on his health almost daily throughout his exposure. His many medical records showing his health problems. He has sent samples to a lab and results were positive for Alternaria mold. I'm not sure what that is, in the HVAC system. He believes there's mold coming from the central air or when the air is on, the mold spores are spread around. He's done everything in his power to clean things, but if it is in the HVAC, there isn't anything he can do. He found mold under the sink and discovered that the garbage disposal was leaking. He also found black rotting floorboards under the carpet that management thought was perfectly fine. Says management was quick to investigate the air conditioner, furnace, and replace air filter. Maintenance reported no problems with the air conditioner and furnace. Maintenance was quick to fix the garbage disposal and clean mold under the sink. But after continuing health problems, management and maintenance investigated the apartment again, claimed there was no problems with the apartment. They said health problems were not related to the apartment. There was nothing else they could do. He asked if he could move to another apartment, but they refused, saying it was against their policy. He asked to make an exception due to his health problems, and they refused, saying there was nothing wrong with the apartment. For 2 months, he was forced to live with his sister. He has a hospital bill before his medical was approved. Had to pay out of pocket for prescriptions. And he's not been able to have his kids over due to mold. So this is a letter from Stefan to his landlord. Lindsay did reach out to our HUD rep to discuss this issue, and they stated that Cross Creek would have to let him out of his lease in order to terminate the assistance in this unit, and they were unwilling to do so because they did not find any problems with it. There's an email from the previous housing authority in Colorado that there was not documentation of mold, but he was complaining about environmental toxins in the area due to gas and oil drilling with his previous housing authority. Again, there's an email here just from Cross Creek saying they were not gonna let him out of his lease because there's nothing wrong with the apartment. There's an email from between Lindsay and our HUD rep that states if there's no significant mold in the unit, then we can't give him a voucher to move unless there's something provided, which there haven't been. And on, looks like October 11th, he was served with a non-payment of rent from Cross Creek. And on October 17th, Health Legal Aid had contacted Cross Creek to try and do a mutual rescission of his lease. And they had asked for that in a letter here from Bob Heimer. Again, Cross Creek did not have any reason to believe that the unit had mold in it and would not let him out of his lease. To email situation.
Anything further?
No.
All right. I have exhibits 1 through 15 that have been offered by the Housing Authority. Do you have any objection to those documents becoming part of the record?
No.
Exhibits 1 through 15 are admitted into evidence. This time, sir, you have an opportunity to ask them questions or provide your own testimony, whatever you choose, or witnesses.
Okay. First off, they said that I wasn't running the air conditioner. That is not true. I ran the air conditioner, but I had it at 76 degrees. Every time the air came on, that was when I would get sick. If it wasn't in the air conditioning system itself, it was maybe being spread around when the air was on. So that's all I wanted to say about that. And then I have a prepared statement if
That's
that's
fine.
okay.
Will you be providing me with a copy of it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I will show you evidence that I could not live at my apartment due to health problems. I will show you evidence that there was Alternaria mold in my apartment and evidence that I am allergic to Alternaria mold. In the rules and regulations for the Section 8 voucher, it states that Section 8 and the apartment complex must provide a safe, clean, and livable environment. On July 24th, 2018, I moved into my apartment, and 2 days later, I was in the hospital with breathing problems. I was in the hospital 3 times, in the ER 3 times, with breathing problems and walking pneumonia. The last time I had pneumonia was in 1999. Each time I went back to the apartment, I would develop breathing problems, and every time I left my apartment, I would be able to breathe again. I did not have serious breathing problems anywhere else I have been. Of the 3 months I paid rent, I maybe stayed there 1 month. I had to stay with my sister the rest of the time. After the 3rd time going to the hospital or ER, I started to think it was the apartment. I noticed a dirty AC unit / furnace. I then discovered mold under the sink from a leak from the garbage disposal. I notified management, and maintenance quickly cleaned the mold and repaired the floorboards and the garbage disposal. A few days after that, I had more breathing problems and notified management, and they came and inspected the apartment. They found nothing else and declared there was nothing in the apartment that was making me sick and blamed it on previous health conditions and the fact I didn't run the air conditioner enough. I used the AC, but not as much because my breathing problems got worse when I had the air conditioner on. I found mold in many other parts of the apartment. I begged them to please just move me to a new apartment, but they said they couldn't because it was against their policy. I asked if they could make an exception, but they refused. After multiple calls to Section 8, I finally got them to do another inspection, but they found no evidence of mold or water leaks. In September, I purchased a home mold test kit and sent the sample to Pro Labs. The test came back positive for Alternaria mold, but not elevated. Management in Section 8 said since it was not elevated, it was not a problem, and said I would have to live there or leave and risk losing my Section 8 voucher. I had no choice. It was either stay there and continue to get sick or leave and risk having to pay off the lease while not living there and risk losing my Section 8. The law states if there's a health issue that makes it impossible for someone to live at a residence, Section 8 has to move you to another residence. I think I have enough evidence to prove that it was not safe for me to live at that apartment. I asked many times for Section 8 to move me to another apartment or let me out of the lease, but the apartment complex refused. Section 8 said if they would not let me out of the lease, then Section 8 would not move me to another apartment. And I had my lawyer at the time send them an offer to rescind the lease, but they refused that offer. I have lost wages, hospital bills, prescriptions, rent at my sister's, lab results, U-Haul rental, storage room rental that I had to pay out of pocket. I lost my life savings, $2,800, not that much, but due to this mold exposure. And by me missing so much work, I also lost my job. I also was not able to see my kids due to the mold exposure because I was sick and didn't want my kids to get sick. It took me 2.5 years to get on Section 8 and 1 year residency in Colorado to be able to port to Davenport. Why would I risk losing my Section 8 voucher to make up a health claim? The apartment was nice, but my body couldn't handle the mold exposure. Section 8 terminated my Section 8 voucher, stating I didn't notify them I was moving. I notified them many times I couldn't live at that apartment. On October 22nd, they terminated my voucher, even though I was paid up on the lease through the end of October. I did everything the apartment complex and my lawyer told me to do, but that is what terminated my Section 8 voucher. I have 2 letters from my family doctor and 2 letters from my pulmonologist stating that any amount of mold exposure can cause breathing problems, and I should avoid exposure by moving out of my apartment. I also have evidence of the mold test results, letters from Cross Creek Apartments and Section 8, rent agreement to pay rent at my sister's, lawyer letters trying to work out a mutual agreement, hospital and ER visit records, and information on mold guidelines and health symptoms from WHO, World Health Organization, the CDC, Center for Disease Control, the Institute of Medicine, and the Mayo Clinic. I humbly ask Your Honor to review my evidence so that I can be reinstated on my Section 8 voucher and then be able to find a clean, safe, livable apartment to live in. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. If you want to provide me with your statement as well as your documents. I'm going to mark your statement as Exhibit A. And your documents I'm going to call Exhibit B.
I also have many pictures of the mold that I found.
The photographs I will mark as Exhibit C. Are there any other exhibits that you'd like to offer?
No.
Do you have any objection to Exhibits A, B, and C being offered?
No.
Exhibits A, B, and C are now part of the record. Do you have any other testimony that you would like to provide today?
Well, I just want to stress that my doctors said that any amount of mold could cause health problems, and it doesn't matter if it wasn't elevated. And they disregarded my doctor's letters saying that they didn't inspect the apartment, but I don't see why my doctor would have to go and inspect my apartment.
And those letters are in here? The letters from your doctor?
Yes.
All right. Anything else, sir?
No, I have 2 witnesses that just witnessed a couple of the situations.
All right, if you'd like to ask them to come up here one at a time, please.
Okay, Judy Weinberger, that's my mom. Oh yeah, let me get Donald Gardner first.
Donald Gardner?
Yes.
G-A.
Gardner.
Mr. Gardner, if you'd like to come up here, please. If you want to pull that chair around so we can use your microphone.
Sure. He came over to my house a couple times.
Hello. Could you raise your right hand, please, sir? Can you state your full name?
Gardner.
Donald Burt Gardner?
Yes,
Okay, and it's Gardner?
correct.
Mr. Gardner, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Okay, I've known Stephen a long time. I visited him when he come back from Colorado. And my first assessment, whoa, nice apartment. And walked through the door. What's the smell? It was musty. Smelled like mold, which I've smelled mold before. And it was just like they said earlier, they smelled musty when they came in there, you know. I'm not sure they've even found the source of it underneath the carpet by the sink. There was mold under there. The board was black, but I think he's got pictures of that. But that was the first thing you'd notice when you walked in the house when he moved there was the smell, musty, nasty smell. But anyway, he did pull back the carpet right there in the corner, didn't tear it. It came up easily because of the boards. And you could see it right away. And then in the air conditioning, you look in there, you can see it was all really dirty. And I told him, hey, we'll just clean it. You know, maybe it'll get better, but it didn't. I can't stay very long because I gotta go pick up a child from school. That's why he brought me first. But any questions?
Anything else you'd like to add from this witness?
You can add your girlfriend. When she came in, she started sneezing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Michelle, my girlfriend, she was with me on one of the visits there. And she noticed the smell right away also, and sneezing.
Is there anything else at this time from this witness? Do
Any questions over there?
you have any questions for this witness? All right, thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you. I do have to leave though, so. I
That's
can
fine.
pick up
Yes,
later.
you're excused. Thank you. You have another witness?
Yes,
Mr.
my mother,
Weinberger?
Judy Weinberger.
Judy?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Judith.
Or Judith.
Sorry.
And she was there when they did the second inspection.
Hello, ma'am. If you could raise your right hand, please. State your full name.
Well, it's Judith A. Weinberger.
Ms. Weinberger, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the
I
truth? Thank you. You may proceed.
Well, when he moved in, and then he kept saying, oh, he's sick, and he's, and I said, okay, I'm coming over. So I went over there, and I smelled it. And I went right to the kitchen. I knew it was in the kitchen. And the floorboard was soaking wet. And I turned the faucet on, and the water flowed, and underneath where the garbage disposal, the water was flowing right out of it. It wasn't sealed. The pipe or something wasn't sealed, flowing right out of it. And it was so damp. And then Stephen showed me that piece of, you just put the thing up, it was black. And right in that area, it was damp, that carpet. Not in the living room. It was in the dining room area. And they didn't check the dining. All they did is touch the living room, just patted the living room carpet, and they said, oh, everything's fine. And then the dishwasher, oh my God, black. Terrible. And then in the bathroom, there's black where the tiles are, black all around. And where else was it? Black.
In the pictures.
Yeah, you got the pictures are there. But yes, it was a musty, like when you're closed up in some place and you walk in and you smell like it's been sitting there a long time. You smell that musky smell. And that's about it,
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything else to add from this witness?
And he got sick, and he lived over with my sisters,
I've said that already.
I know, and it's sad. He has to, the apartment was beautiful. It was beautiful. But he couldn't even last there a couple of days, and he had to come stay with Nicole. Then he'd go back, try it out again. And back to the hospital, just back and forth. And then he finally says, I cannot live here, or the doctor told me he can't live here. And so then he moved in with Nicole, my daughter. He's been there since.
Thank you. Any other questions for this witness, sir?
No.
Do you have any questions for this witness? Thank you. You're excused. Thank you today, or thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
All right, Stefan, is there any other evidence that you would like to offer
There's no more evidence.
or testimony? The pictures are here.
And also, there was some last thing about the shower too. The reason I didn't run the vent was because I tried to keep the steam in the shower in the bathroom, so it would help my breathing. Sometimes it helped a little bit, and sometimes it didn't. That was another thing I thought of about them, saying that I had more humidity from that. And then the air conditioner, I had it on. It was just at 76. It was hotter than usual, but I didn't have it off until after I moved out.
All right. Anything else, sir?
I think that's it.
All right, thank you. Do you have anything further for this witness?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to state that Cross Creek was built in 2008. I've never had an issue with another tenant having any problems with mold there. When I did go and do that second inspection at Stefan's, Cross Creek had photos of when they were in there 8 days prior, that there was dirty dishes that were still in the sink from then, which I understand he moved out and he didn't want to go back in there, but it was very musty and it did not smell like that when I first went and inspected it when the air conditioning was on. I know he took those steam showers, and right outside there was that portion of carpet he's speaking of, which was directly across from the bathroom, maybe about 2 feet. When you pull it up and you see the tack strip, there is a section that's darker in the middle. They clean the carpets with water. And that may be where some of the moisture came from, and then it dries out and then it's left to be that way.
Anything else? All right.
I'd like to add something with that.
Certainly.
Earlier in their testimony, they said there was no moisture when they inspected, but now she's saying that there was.
Do you have a question for her about that?
You said there was no moisture, but then you just said there must have been moisture underneath to cause those boards to go black.
There
Anything further?
wasn't moisture. It was just darker than it should have been, or than it was, just from previous moisture from carpet cleaning, which is what they do at every unit.
Anything further?
I just want to say one more thing. If I could have stayed there, I would have. My health just didn't allow me to stay there, and it's not my fault. I did not do anything to cause my health problems. It was the apartment that has the mold, and the mold test results, and then my doctor doing the blood test showing that I have an allergy to that alternaria mold. I just believe that proves that was what the problem was. And whether it was a small amount of mold or a large amount, it doesn't matter. Any amount of mold, of that type of mold, can cause my breathing problems.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything else at this time?
That's it.
Thank you. Is there anything further? All right, thank you. This hearing is closed. Alexandria? Hello. Sorry you had to wait.
You're fine.